Today I've got the Wurrkos TD01, which is like a budget-friendly AceBeam L19. Welcome back to Shul Lights. This is a fun light to review because it really brings the idea of a long-range TIR optic thrower into a really budget-friendly category, because this light is $40 or under, and it's got a lot of nice features, and really, I don't think it quite meets the standard that the AceBeam L19 meets, meaning this is a better kind of machined and a better UI. But the thing is, light is about twice the price. So I think there's a lot of people out there that are going to love this light because it's so budget friendly and you can pick one of these up and not really worry about breaking the bank. Let's take a look at this box here, which is really nice. You know, I'm just making guesses here, but I do notice that Sofrin and Wurrkos have similar looking boxes, and I'm assuming they're all made in the same factory. But Wurrkos here, this TD01, let's take a look at what comes in the box. So it's got a sleeve that you pull off like that, and it's got a little magnetic flappy on the side here. And the light sits in this pre-cut out, and it has a little bag here with a lanyard and O-rings, and it comes with a charging cable, which is USB-A to C, because the light does have built-in charging. Had a little warning here to remove the little insulating disc, and a pamphlet in several languages. Let's take a look at the light size-wise. So here's the L19 and the TD01 next to each other. You can see they're very similar sizes there. And let's put it against a Prometheus Alpha, just because that's what's in my pocket. So that's to give you a good size there. Taking a look at the ergonomics and the fit and finish, the anodization is really silky and smooth and even. You can see there's minimal branding, so if I look around here, I'm not seeing stuff plastered everywhere. The milling on the light is classic, not sharp, feels good. The button, a little bit squishy. I wouldn't say mushy. Feels precise but squishy. It's not clicky. The button on the end here is very clicky. This is a mechanical clicky. That's what it feels like. And the button on the side is an E-switch. You got the large optical TIR in the front here, and this bezel. Let's see if I can break it free. I can't. Maybe I could with strap wrenches, but it wasn't coming off. Easily. So there you go. Not that I think that I would want to get in here, because this light has an SFT40, which is just an excellent emitter. On the back here, you got the charge port with its flappy doodle. It's got a little flap there to get purchase. And when I pulled it up, I heard a little Tupperware suction. So that's a good sign for lack of water ingress. And you have a USB-C port right there to mate to the charging cable that they included. Now, the instructions said that it might take as much as 4.5 hours to charge. So I guess this is not a very quick charge. I did not charge it that way. I used my standalone charger, so I unscrewed the tail cap, popped out the included Wurrkos 21700, and I just charged it in my standalone. I also want to point out, since it does include an unprotected 21700, that makes this even more of a value than, let's say, the AceBeam L19, where you have to purchase your own battery. So not only is the light more expensive, but then there's the battery on top of that. Let's see if I can get a shot here. A spring at the bottom, a spring in the tail cap as well. Let's talk about the UI, which is pretty straightforward. There's actually 2 different mode groups included in the manual. I didn't like mode group 2. I'll talk about it. Didn't like it. I like the way the light came set up in mode group 1. So you click it on the back here, and then you've got 4 modes. You got an eco, low, medium, high. So I believe I'm on eco right now, and then I click the side switch here to go up a mode to low, then click again to go to medium, click again to go to high, and when I click one more time, I'll go back to eco. Now there is a hidden turbo, which can be got to two different ways. I can double click and go to turbo on the side, and one click returns to the main group, or I can double click actually from the tail, which is an interesting thing to be able to do considering this is a mechanical switchy. So it has mode memory on the back. You can see that when I click on here, I'm on a medium mode, and when I go to low here, or let's just go to the medium, when I click off and click back on, I'm back on it. So there's a mode memory, but if I rapidly double click on the back and latch, so click, you see I go to turbo. Now, I have no problem activating it. Click, whoops, let me try, as I don't activate it, right? Let me try again. Tap, click. I have no problem. I've hit it with near 100% chance. But I want to point out that a friend of mine said when he tested the light that if he went really fast, and let me try and do it like he does. Click. Yeah, see, it's not on turbo, but I'm really, click. I'm really trying to. If I just do it with a normal cadence, tap, click, I go to turbo almost every time. Tap, click. It's not a problem. So I'm just not rushing myself. Tap, whoops, I clicked all the way. Tap, click, not a problem. But if you go real fast, tap. See, it's not really, so just don't rush it is what I'm trying to say. Now, there are hidden strobe groups. So if you triple click, you go to strobe, and then when you're in strobe, you can double click to go to an SOS. Not going to show them, but they're there. Now, the one thing I will show you though, and the manual is a little confusing on this, it says that when the light is on, you press and hold the side switch for 3 seconds, and that it will go to the next mode group 2, by flashing twice. It says that it's going to flash twice, and all this. It's not correct. It's not correct. What it actually does is in mode group 1, it notifies you by going to eco. In mode group 2, it notifies you in mode group 2 by going to high. So watch, I'm on eco now, so I'll press and hold for 3 seconds. And when it goes to high, that signifies I'm now in mode group 2. So what is mode group 2 like? Well, when you click it on, you only have 2 modes. You have a high and a turbo. So it's like, actually it's a medium and turbo. Medium and turbo, okay? And then when you do the double tap on the end, instead of getting turbo, you get strobe. So tap. There's your direct to access turbo. I don't find that super useful, so I'm going to press and hold, and you'll see that when I do, it's going to signify that it's in mode group 1 by going back to low or eco. I guess that was low. And I also want to point out that if I am on low here, that you can press and hold the side while clicking to go a shortcut to eco. So let me go to a higher mode, click it off, click it on. You see it's memorized, right? Press and hold, click it on. I'm on eco. All right, let's do some lumen testing. I'm not going to show you the Iconic readout. It's a cool white emitter, SFT40, low CRI, 6,000 Kelvin CCT, so it's all pretty standard. Not green, looks fine to my eye. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and worry about the extra lumens I'm getting here for my lights because the eco is still 20 lumens. So the manual says, I think 30 or so. It's a little lower than the manual says. But let me click through to low now. So low, I'm reading about 100 lumens. The medium, I'm reading 220 lumens. Then the high, I'm getting 650 lumens. I'm going to double tap to turbo, tap. And you can see I'm getting 1650 lumens at start. We'll let it run for a little bit here. So it's not falling that fast. It's doing pretty well. Still over 1500 lumens. So there you go. So this light does well over 1500 lumens at ANSI. Now, it might be a little disappointing if you're looking at the box and you're remembering it said 2200 lumens. I've checked it multiple times with a full battery. I get 1650 lumens every time. That was independently tested with Tactical Grizzly as well. He also got 1650 lumens. So the only thing I can figure out is that there's either a clerical error or maybe that they were going off of factory spec instead of with the optic and loss. But don't let that worry you, because this is a thrower. And so the question is it going to throw 1,000 meters? And it absolutely does. Tactical Grizzly did all the candela measurements, and it actually performed better than the stats in the manual. Let's take a look at the Wurrkos TD01 compared to the AceBeam L19. Now, the TD01 has an SFT40 in it versus my L19 has a W1 green. So a W1 green is going to be a much different emitter than the SFT40, but let's take a look at the comparison anyways. So the first thing I should point out, let's tilt down for this, is that the TD01, and let's see if I can get to a lower mode to show this on camera. There we go. The TD01 has a bright ring in the beam. Now that bright ring isn't really going to bother you unless you look for it. In normal use, I'm not really seeing it, but if you do some white wall hunting in your house, you're going to notice that ring right away. You know, this is just one of those things that you're probably going to get when you buy a budget light like this. But let's take a look at its actual performance now. All right, let's go straight to turbo. Let's take a look at this beam shape and profile as we go up the street. And oh wow, look at that at 150 meters at the end of the street. That is great. Let's take a look at both of them now on 20 meter tree. And you can see the SFT is definitely a bigger hot spot than the W1 is. And now the 55 meter tree, that's the green obviously, and here's the SFT 40, now at 150 meters at the end there. And you know, the W1 green is more candela and it is more concentrated and those trees are brighter. But listen, you know, it's green, right? The SFT 40 is doing great at the 150 meters mark. Now on turbo, even in this shot, I am seeing that ring of light that I noticed, but for $40, this is an amazing thrower. I'm going to give it all kinds of concessions. I mean, the AceBeam definitely has a more optimized, cleaner beam. My conclusion is that this is an easy light to recommend. The price point is great. It is an excellent thrower. It pairs an excellent emitter, the SFT40, which is just one of the best thrower emitters on the market right now, in a large TIR optic, which has an excellent beam shape. And you just can't beat the value here. You know, if you have something a little more costly like an AceBeam L19, this is not going to best it, but it is such a great value that if you don't have a dedicated thrower yet, I would definitely run out and get this Wurrkos TD01 thrower. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'm going to see you in the next review.